So, among the U.S. educational system, there's a huge debate on which is better for college credit, which is better overall, and what people should do. So the debate is either doing AP or IB. So in this video, I'll discuss the pros and cons and what each program is, and my overall opinion, and which I believe is the best for you by studying with Bornell. So what is AP? AP is advanced placement classes which offer college credit. They're essentially college level classes and they're offered by College Board, the same company that makes the SAT. So how AP works is you choose the AP class that you want to take. There's no requirement. You don't have to take AP chemistry if you don't want to, right? There's examples of AP classes are like AP Bio, AP Calc, AP US History, and more. And then you take the AP classes for a year from like sophomore to senior year. You could take AP classes as a freshman. It ultimately depends up to you. So you take the AP class, and the end of the school year, you take the AP exam. And then in order to pass the exam, you must get a score from 3 to 5. But ultimately, you want a score range of 4 to 5 because this offers college credit. But for if you get a score of 3, it depends on the college if you get college credit or not. But if you get a 1 and 2 on the exam, you do not get college credit. So there's a lot of pros for AP. It's a flexible schedule because you're able to pick your classes and you're able to pick how much APs you take. If you want to take 5 APs, you can take 5. If you want to take 2 APs, you can take 2. And there's a lot of less work overall. Like there's still work, but it's not as much compared to IB. And if you want to do if you want to become like a doctor or something, you could just take AP classes that are like relate to being a doctor, like chemistry, biology. You don't gotta take AP calculus if it doesn't relate to your major. But there are also some cons. It's mostly test based. So if you are not good at tests, like you get too much stress, you're probably gonna do bad on the exam, meaning you're not gonna get college credits. You're wasting a whole school year. So, and then sometimes there's less depth in some subjects and also no program structure. The last 2 points, they really don't matter as long as the whole idea is as long as you pass the exam with at least a score of 4 or 5. That's the most important thing. Okay, when looking at IB, which stands for International Baccalaureate, yeah, it's a fully academic program that lasts for 2 years. You do it around your junior and senior year, and then at the end of your senior year, you take the IB exams. And the material consists of the things you learn from your junior and senior year. And IB is internationally recognized, right? Because AP is only recognized in the US, while IB is recognized in South Korea, Bangladesh, like a lot of countries, like a lot of countries in Europe, and it's also recognized in the US too. IB is multiple subjects together. Like with AP, if you want to take AP Bio, you can. If you want to take AP Chem, you can. Like there's choices. With IB, you're forced to take something. You're forced to take like a math class. You're forced to take some sort of science. But with IB, there's so much like extra work you gotta do in order to pass. So the three things I put were CAS, EE, and TOK. So the EE is the extended essay, which is around like a 4K word essay on like either history, literature, like based on one of the classes you take. If you don't do the EE, you don't pass the IB, like you don't get your diploma. Like you have to do it. It's the same with CAS, which stands for Creativity, Activity, or Civics. You have to do that in order to pass the IB. Like creativity, you could do like making origami. Activity, you can do like running, like getting exercise. And service, like cleaning the park, is extra stuff that you gotta do in order to pass. And then TOK, which stands for Theory of Knowledge. You essentially understand what knowledge is. You gotta do that. You gotta take that class, do an essay, and more in order to pass the IB. So there's extra work that you gotta do. So there's 6 subject areas like literature, math, science, and more. And then IB offers HL and SL levels. So HL classes, you can only take a minimum of 3, but no more than 4, right? And what HL classes are, like for example, one of my friends take SL Bio, but I take HL Bio. I get a harder exam, but I get more college credit. So you get more material, but there's still a benefit from it. And then there's a lot of pros for IB. So with IB, you do a lot of analysis. Like you become a better writer. And I'm an IB student myself, and I can say I became a way better writer. IB made me become a better critical thinker and more. And then IB also looks strong for colleges, but you could also say the same for AP. They both look strong for colleges. But there's a lot of cons for IB. There's a heavy workload. Like some classes can give more than others, but like you gotta think about the extra stuff you gotta do. You gotta do your EE, you gotta do CAS, as well as with IB, you gotta do IAs, which is called an internal assessment, which is basically a research paper on most of your classes. You gotta do an IA for bio, chemistry, one of your math classes, and more. You gotta do that in order to pass the IB. So with the IB, it's a lot of like work. There's so much extra stuff in order to pass the IB, which AP doesn't have. So as an IB student myself, I would overall say like there's no bias, no nothing or anything. I overall say AP is better. AP, you still get the same amount of college credit as you do as IB, but there's like not a lot of extra work you gotta do. You don't gotta do 3,000 word research papers for each of your classes. You don't gotta do a 4,000 word essay. You don't gotta do create cast. You don't gotta do a creativity activity or service. You don't gotta do that. You just take the classes. You pass the class, so which helps your GPA, and you do good on the AP exam. You get a 4 or 5, and then you're good. You get the college credit. So if you're an incoming high schooler or and considering should you do AP or IB, in my opinion, pick AP. So if you have any questions in the comments, let me know. Thank you.